Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh will face a second round of questioning on Thursday before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senators will get 20 minutes for their final round of questions. 3:45 p.m., Coons says Kavanaugh is not being honest about his views on the unitary executive theory and presidential power because if he were in the age of Trump, it would put his nomination in jeopardy. Kavanaugh says he has reaffirmed Humphrey's executor and said Nixon v. U.S. was one of the court's best decisions. 3:25 p.m., Coons asks if Nixon violated the law or Constitution when he fired Archibald Cox, the special prosecutor. Kavanaugh, it violated the regulation. 3:15 p.m., Kavanaugh says dissents speak to the next generation, and that's why they are important. They are discussing Justice Harlan's famed dissent in Plessy. 3:09, Sass and Kavanaugh discussing precedent and the need for established rules and precedents. They are discussing Kavanaugh's 2016 Law Review article, The Judge's Umpire, 10 Principles. They are discussing this part of the article. Second, to be a good judge and a good umpire, you also have to follow the established rules and the established principles. A good umpire should not be making up the strike zone as he or she goes along. Judges likewise should not make up the rules as they go along. We see this in statutory interpretation, for example. A good judge sticks to the established text and canons of construction that help guide us in interpreting ambiguous text. Justice Antonin Scalia has had a profound influence on statutory interpretation. One of the things he has helped to do is to narrow the areas of disagreement about how to interpret statutes. Every judge now seems to start with the text of the statute. If you came to our court and sat in our courtroom for a week, and I do not advise that for anyone who wants to stay sane, you would hear every judge asking, what does the text of the statute say? How does the text of the statute support your position? That has been a big change in statutory interpretation, and it has helped establish better and clearer rules of the road. Following established rules include stare decisis. We follow the cases that have been decided. We operate in a system built on Supreme Court precedent. As lower court judges, we must adhere to absolute vertical stare decisis, meaning we follow what the Supreme Court says. And to be a good lower court judge, you must follow the Supreme Court precedent in letter and in spirit. We should not try to wriggle out of what the Supreme Court said, or to twist what the Supreme Court said, or to push the law in a particular direction, but to follow what the Supreme Court said in both letter and spirit. Horizontal stare decisis has some flexibility, as it must. Vertical stare decisis is absolute.